Well, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Global Chamber Austin. My name is Stephanie Austin. I'm the Executive Director of Global Chamber Austin. We are so glad to have you all today. We have some special things in store for you. As you saw, the topic for today is Age Tech Innovations Abound. We have some great speakers here for us today, with us today. And I just want to do a brief introduction about Global Chamber. We have our board chair on board that's joined us also, Andrew Roush. Wave your hand, Andrew. There he goes. And of course, Debbie Howard, who's on our advisory board. So I just want to share a brief high level what Global Chamber Austin is and what Global Chamber is, just in case for those who don't know. So I'll share my screen and give you a high level overview of what Global Chamber is. Okay. And if you can see the screen, I need someone to let me know that they can, because, okay, great. Yeah, all thumbs up. So you see the beautiful backdrop of Global Chamber, of Austin, Texas. It's beautiful. It really is. I love the skyline. I love the nightlife, the daylife and the nightlife. It's just beautiful. Love the water. Want to tell you about Global Chamber. It's a growing global community. It's different than local chambers. Your local chambers are just that. It's local to the city or to the county. Global Chamber is worldwide. We're in 525 metros, we're in 195 countries, and we're the only organization in the world with hundreds of locations that help executives grow sustainable business. We use artificial intelligence across our deep and wide network of talented exporters, investors, and global resources. As I mentioned to you, we're in 525 metros, and people, I like to give a visual because that number sounds great, but then I show you the North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and the Pacific. It really brings it to home as to what I mean by that. Our mission is to accelerate cross-border trade and investment in every region of the world, engaging top executives and leaders with warm connections. So think about it. As an owner of your business or either employee of an organization, whenever you want to connect with another company or another service, it's cold calling. Sometimes you may know someone that works there, sometimes you may not. Sometimes you may know the CEO, sometimes you may not. The beautiful thing about Global Chamber is that whenever a member or a sponsor wants to connect with someone in Tokyo, we have people that's there in Tokyo. If anyone wants to connect with someone in Africa or New York or California, a specific business, we do those warm connections. So when we tell people that we batter up, we get you to the base, and so therefore we connect you, and then it's up for you to hit that home run with the person we connect you with. Our vision here is to a business reality where it's easy growing across regions anywhere in the world as a seller across the street. So therefore, with the warm connection and the introduction to an organization that's in Mexico, it's just like doing business right across the street if you were there in Austin, because we connect you with that person. So we do have several testimonies. I won't read those. We have some from the Vice President of Bank of America. We have Senior VP of BMO Bank, different markets, vibrant markets of India. And so there's several testimonies. We get hundreds and hundreds of testimonies, which I didn't want to put here on the screen. Debbie did some of that testimonial earlier today, so she'll do it at the end. I wanted just to kind of introduce to you guys briefly our advisory board members and our board chair. As I mentioned to you, Andrew Roush is here. He's the Vice President of Improving Austin. We have Terry Cotton, who's the Deputy Director. She's our CEO of TLC Services. We have Valerie Sue Payton Hernandez. She's our founder of Global. You have Elise Krenzel. She's the CEO of EK Publications. We have Kathy Burrell. I know you can read. She's a Senior Vice President of Bank of America. We have Debbie Howard, who's a founder of Age Tech. We have Kelly Flowers, who's the CEO of Women Leading Technology. And we have Lauren Mills and Marie Barber, who are the co-founders of Invisible Strength. We always have opportunities and room to grow our board. So of course, I'm going to invite you to join our board as well as be a member. So without further ado, I won't do any more here. I'm going to turn it over shortly. Let me stop sharing. Any questions? I know I ran through that pretty quickly. I just wanted to kind of do a high level. I didn't want to take over with just going through all of the details of Global Chamber Austin. Any questions for me? Any thoughts? None. Okay, that means I did a great job. Or either you guys are thinking about it and you're going to ask me at the end, and I'll tap on your shoulder at the end and say, Lori, what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts regarding Global Chamber or the TABS? So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew Roush, who's our board chair. He has been our board chair going on 2 years, and it has truly been a blessing. So Andrew, I will turn it over to you.
Hey, Stephanie, thank you. Thanks for the heads up, so I can make sure I get the chopsticks away from my face and all that kind of good stuff. So first of all, Stephanie, just want to say thank you to you for your leadership as the executive director for Austin. You know, Austin is such a vibrant and exciting community, and we continue to see so much growth here in Austin. So it's great that Global Chamber has a footprint here. We have a strong advisory board. If anybody's interested in that, I'd highly recommend you considering it. So we've got a really solid team. Lots of referrals keep happening within the Austin team and beyond. So I think we're making some really good progress, Stephanie. More to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think with presentations like we have with Debbie today, and I'm super excited to hear Debbie speak on this topic again personally for all those of you that are on a call. And Debbie, just an update. I moved my mom to Texas from New York last week. She arrived by plane about midnight, and she's settling in well. But we have some challenges. She's 80 years old, and so we've got some challenges in front of her. And one of the challenges, Debbie, one of the first things she asked is, hey, I don't have that phone on the wall anymore. How's anybody going to call me? So we're facing a real practical situation. And I'm kind of looking at, you know, maybe getting her a mobile phone. And she looks at that and says, well, that's way too complicated. So, you know, the practical things of day-to-day communications are out front with me personally. So excited about the topic that you're going to share this morning. And Stephanie, I don't know if there's anything else you want me to share, but I'll keep it short and sweet and get out of the way.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Truly appreciate it. Just want to do a brief introduction again as Debbie. She's going to help facilitate this discussion. And so one of the areas for Austin obviously is tech, but most recently we've been hearing a lot about the so-called age tech, where technology is rising and to meet expanding needs of our aging population, as Andrew shared. And it's challenging, as I wouldn't say challenging, I guess it's heartfelt as you see our family members aging. They said there's 10,000 people per day, seniors that are, you know, retiring, or our baby boomers, each 10,000 a day. And so therefore, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I'm so glad to hear about age tech and what that's going to look like. One of my global advisors, Debbie Howard, has expertise in this area, both in Japan, where she's worked for 35 plus years. And she started when she was 2. And here in the States, where she has become involved in the wider world of aging, longevity, caregiving, with a focus on age tech products that can help with solutions in these areas. And so Debbie is going to start us off today with a few perspectives on the age tech market globally and why it's hot. And then we'll hear from our two Texas-based age tech companies, Tavis Schweifer of Telecam and Laurie Miller of Age Tech Now. So without further ado, Debbie, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, that rhyme, look at there.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you, Andrew. And please consider me your, you know, I'm a hotline for you. If you have any questions, and if I know of anything that can help, I will. I already made a note that an easy interface phone would be a really nice solution for your mom, because those things can be really overwhelming. I helped an older lady in the airport one day who couldn't even call her daughter on her iPhone. And she was supposed to do that before she left the whatever airport I was at. I can't remember, Charlotte or whatever. But I saw that she was having trouble, and I went over there and I helped her, and she was really nice and she was really frustrated. And she just said, I can't use it. I need something with like 3 buttons, so the challenge is real. The challenge is real that we're all facing. And I am so gratified to be working in this area of aging and longevity and onward into caregiving, which I think are completely and inevitably linked forever, because you can't talk about one without talking about the other really intelligently. And age tech is something that offers us some solutions. I would also like to say that I am a person who believes in high tech, high touch. I don't think tech is the answer to everything. I think there are lots of analog solutions that we can be looking at every day for our older adults and those who care for them. But age tech certainly is a way forward, and it's an exciting way forward. And all the developments with AI and assistive chat and all the things that we're seeing right now in our lifetime are really quite amazing. So I think it's good for us to embrace those. As Stephanie mentioned, I have a couple of hats. I am so fortunate to have lived and worked in Japan for over 35 years, and that gave me a front row seat to the aging society that Japan is. And it is the most aged society in the world, with 30% of the population over 65. And you can imagine that's compared to the States at about 17%. So whatever we see here in the States, which is pretty bad if you ask me, is even more pronounced in Japan. And that inspired me along the way to be interested in the aging and longevity space. And then when I became a caregiver for my mom, when I was 54, 15 years ago, I had to go back from Tokyo and be my mom's caregiver 24/7 till the end of her life. And that really opened my eyes to the world of caregiving, which I really, maybe as a market researcher, I had been a little bit distanced, observing it with products and maybe care. We had interviewed some caregivers and older aging adults in Tokyo about robotics and that sort of thing, but it doesn't hit home until you do it yourself. And I think one of the things I love about the age tech space is we all have such interesting origin stories. So these days I work the Tokyo business, trying to help supercharge the age tech development area there, in part so that we can bring US and European companies over to Japan to help with their issues in Japan. I'm also, of course, involved in the Austin Global Chamber, and because I live here in Wimberley, Texas, and I was, again, I consider it lucky enough to be here during COVID. It gave me a really nice new full-time view of my own country and my own world again. And so I've been able to help with age tech here in the States, mostly through my shows on Clubhouse. So I'm a co-host on 2 shows on Clubhouse, which I highly recommend. One is called Age Friendly Product Alliance, which both Laurie and Tavis have been guests on. And one is called News for the Ages, where we review all the latest news articles in aging, longevity, and caregiving. So yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can. I'm also an author with a book for individuals and a book for companies. My job as Debbie Howard is to promote these good things in the world, raise the awareness, get the products out there, get them out there to the people faster. So without further ado, I just would like to transition to my role in Texas here. I am so proud of our state for having a really pretty good nexus when it comes to tech and especially age tech. And we're seeing this grow pretty quickly now. As age tech grows in the States and the world, we, Texas, have a really good stronghold with some really good companies. Part of that is related to our Dallas, I think they call it, is it Silicon Prairie? And then Austin is Silicon Hills. So, Texans are always, we're really into claiming, what we can. And we also are a really good destination state for business. We are a highly ranked state for business, being business friendly. And I'm just really proud of all of that. And we're just trying at the Austin Chamber here through these webinars on age tech to highlight what great companies we have in Texas in this area. And hopefully that will help our companies and the state and of course our chapter as well. So I would like to mention that in May, we heard from Andrew Chang of H Robotics, which is based in Austin and is they have a really interesting rehabilitation tool. It's a robotics tool that can be used for in-home rehabilitation after knee surgery. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it, because what we're seeing in the healthcare industry is that we have shortage of workers, including occupational therapists and physical therapists. So if we could have a robotics solution to a very intensive rehab situation like knee surgeries, that's a great application of age tech. And so we heard from Andrew in May, and today we have two new Texas companies that one new, one very well established, and also in the age tech space. And then we'll have one more showcase meeting in November to be determined, but we're going to try to do these every 3 months. So we're going to try to do quarterly showcase webinars of Texas companies in the age tech space. And today we're going to hear first from Tavis Schrieffer of Telecom. And Tavis is founder and CEO of Telecom, and it's a caregiver managed phone service company that stops problem calls for families living with Alzheimer's and dementia care receivers. And the service can be used in residences or in, and I mean community residences or home residences. And I'm going to let Tavis tell you more about Telecom, which is a wonderful service and something that if any of you have caregiven for Alzheimer's and dementia, you know how important this service is. So Tavis, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Debbie. So can you guys hear me okay? All right. So I appreciate it. I do have a couple of slides I can share on it if that's easier. So I can share out my screen real quick. All right, you guys see all that? Okay, cool. So hi everyone, thanks a lot Debbie for that introduction. I am Tavis Schrieffer. I'm the founding CEO of Telecom, which as Debbie said is a caregiver managed phone service company that stops problem calls for families living with Alzheimer's and other cognitive challenges. And now my mouse won't work. There we go. So as my mom's caregiver, well, that wasn't it. So I apologize. So I was asked to tell a little bit about the company itself. I was a two-time caregiver myself. I designed Telecom based on my own experiences and working with hundreds of other caregivers as well. I wanted to tell you a personal story that inspired me to create Telecom. So through 2014, I was my mom's primary caregiver. Her dementia had been progressing slowly over 4 to 5 years, which led to several issues using the telephone. Caregiving, as a lot of us know, was a tough job. And so I decided to look for ways that I could help others overcome some of the same challenges. This experience as a caregiver, along with my background in the telecommunications and consumer electronics industries, provided me the skills and the passion to make a difference there. And that's how Telecom was born over 7 years ago. And I can explain over the next couple of minutes of just how we're making a difference for those families living with cognitive issues. So as my mom's caregiver, I did learn a lot of the challenges associated with dementia. The incoming calls from scammers caused her a lot of anxiety, but the biggest problems were outgoing calls, buying things from TV, calling repeatedly at all hours of the night, plus the inappropriate 911 calling. So these are extremely common problems for millions of seniors suffering from dementia. And that's why we created Telecom, to stop these problem calls, reduce senior isolation, and reduce family stress. As an example, Truling Financial reports that over $36 billion is defrauded from seniors annually. 70% of that involves the telephone. 18% of it involves a family member, a friend, or an ex-paid caregiver. With over 9 million phone calls under our belt, Telecom has successfully been stopping all of these targeted fraud calls for our families. So all of this is done with our home phone service, which is available now. We're currently in beta testing with our Telecom mobile service that provides all the features and benefits of that landline service, and that'll be commercially available later this year. So at the heart of our service is the Caregiver app. Family caregivers subscribe to our service for their loved one and manage the service remotely using the Caregiver app. Within Telecom, those calls to trusted contacts will pass straight through to the loved one, while suspicious calls and known bad guys are blocked immediately. Using that Caregiver app, family caregivers are able to prevent all the bad calls, even problem calls the senior makes due to their dementia. So we provide this service to seniors in over 750 senior living communities across the US and in private homes in 49 states. We're missing Alaska. If anybody knows somebody that could use it there, that'd be awesome. But in most cases, family members subscribe to the service. They bring it into their loved one's senior living apartment, even in memory care where they may not be able to have a phone otherwise. The setup takes about 10 minutes and it doesn't use the community's Wi-Fi or their phone wiring, so it can work anywhere. So among the problem calls are false 911 calls, which is a major issue in senior living communities. About 52% of our end users in senior living make unnecessary 911 calls, which we're able to block or route to a nurse's station. So most of the family caregivers subscribe to our service for those outgoing call problems, but they also love that we block 100% of the incoming telemarketer and scam calls as well. The bottom line is we stop all the bad calls, both incoming and outgoing, which is about 62% of all the calls per month. So many times caregivers don't even think about landline solutions. Everybody, only thinks of cell phones, but there are many advantages to a senior, both in private homes and senior living, especially if the senior has dementia. As cell phones become more confusing, these seniors can still continue using landline style phones because it's a technology they grew up with. The latest figures show there's about 10 million seniors with dementia in the US. That's 18% of the senior population. 70% of seniors continue to live at home. And according to the Alzheimer's Association, 42% of all senior living residents have dementia. So today we are focused on the Alzheimer's and dementia population with our current home phone service offering. This market triples with the launch of our Telecom mobile service, expanding the offering to populations with other cognitive challenges. Our total available market is over $12 billion in the US, plus there's additional opportunities internationally. So we believe we are the best solution for caregivers. There are other companies that offer some degree of scam protection, but only Telecom is able to stop all outgoing call problems as well and restrict those incoming calls to only contacts. This positions us to be the leader in phone solution provider for those with cognitive challenges. We are protected by both US and European patents, providing us great opportunities to partner in larger international companies as well. So what makes Texas a great place for age tech companies? Well, one possible reason is that to have your business here in Texas is specializing, especially in the age tech industry, is the large and growing population of older adults. Texas ranks third largest in the U.S. for the number of people over 65. More than 4.1 million residents, that's 13.9% of the population of Texas, is our seniors. This represents a large market for age tech products and services that can improve the quality of life, the health, and the independence of older adults. Additionally, Texas has favorable business climate, low taxes, regulations, and the cost of living is much lower. We also have a well-diverse and skilled workforce. So these factors can attract and retain age tech entrepreneurs, investors, and talent to the state. So I appreciate the time. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Tavis. I learned a few things. I didn't know we were the third largest state in terms of 65 plus. That's a great statistic, and that was so informative. Yes.
Only Florida and California are larger.
Okay, that's so interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I did not know that. And I should know that. So great. Well, let's see if we have any questions for you. If we have any audience members who would like to ask questions of Tavis about their service, would you please, I think, what would you prefer, Stephanie, that they put it in the chat or unmic and ask the question?
I think unmic and ask the question. If they could turn the camera on, that'd be great too. So we'll see who we're talking to. But if not, it's no pressure.
Sure. Do we have any questions for Tavis? I have one while we wait. Where are you located in Texas, Tavis?
So we're headquartered in Frisco.
Okay.
Right at the Star. So with Dallas Cowboys training camp right behind us. So
Okay. All
you're
right.
you're right down the street from me. That's where I am.
oh.
Okay, that's great. And I would like to also ask, in light of Andrew's situation with his mom, is there an easy phone that we should know about that a resident of an assisted living facility could use? Is there a simplified phone that's not a landline that could be used?
Well, so yes, I mean, there's both landlines and cell phones that are simpler. I can certainly provide links to them. The landline phones, they're on Amazon. That's the best selection, really. Companies like Future Call or if I look over here, Clarity. There's a couple of different ones. Future Call is great because it can be photo dialing. So if they have problems even dialing the phones, you can put photos or the names on these large buttons. So that way they don't have to remember the phone numbers. We do have a lot of our seniors that use those types of phones. On the cell phone side, there is the one that we're beta testing, of course, our cell phone service. There's also RAS Mobility, which makes a cell phone that is that locks down to only being basically a photo dial phone on a cell phone. There are, of course, Great Call pushes their phones. The issue I have, honestly, with Great Call is that they offer no scam protection whatsoever and no ability to put scam protection on the phone. So it's completely unrestricted, and I think that's extremely short-sighted.
I do have a comment. Tavis, I think this is a great tool. I don't know if it's a tool or application that you have I would love to have it just to stop the scammers for myself. But the one thing that I do like about it is that my mother, she's be 80 in a year or so, and she doesn't have dementia. However, I see it creeping maybe a little bit. But as you mentioned, they get so many scam calls, and then there's times that my dad, he's 80, he'll say, "Hey, this is a good deal." It's like, "Dad, it's a scam. Dad,
Mhm.
it's a scam." And so, I mean, I think this will be a great tool, even if they're not, if they may be aging, but I
Mhm.
think this is a great tool that, potentially I would love for my parents to have, because I'm having to field it and they're in different states. My dad's in Florida, my mom's in Alabama. And then sometimes if I'm not available, they're already gone and, clicked on the link, or I'm like, no, why would I was like, I've told you not to do it. And so I am very excited. I love the senior population. And what stood out to me, I made notes. I was just taking notes. The fact that you're in 49 states is phenomenal. We can definitely talk about if there's any opportunity in Alaska. We'd love to partner with you on that. You're in 750 senior living communities, which is great. However, there's so much more opportunity out there for your business. And so I'm just very excited. And I didn't realize there was 10 million US people with dementia. That is a huge number. And
Yeah.
sometimes our seniors don't realize they are in that early stage and may not have caregivers or family members to kind of help them along the way. But I find this your business as a great opportunity for our seniors. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Sure. Thanks, Stephanie.
And I think, Tavis, if I'm not mistaken, you said coming soon, you have the mobile service.
Yes, beta.
Yes. Yeah, we are beta testing our telecom mobile service. What makes it different than, like, I would say Raz Mobility would be our largest competitor. I mean, it's a competitor in some ways, but in others, we actually recommend Raz every day to some people. It is a photo dial phone that is locked down, and it's a cell phone, so it has no functionality to Facebook, internet, email, texting, maps, any of that, browsing the web. So it is just phone calls. And if that's best suited for your loved one, then that is a great solution. Where we differentiate is ours is only locks down the dialer itself. They still have access to any other application on your smartphone that you unlock for them, which we don't make it. We don't create software that will lock or unlock other apps. There's plenty of software out there to do that. We can point you to a few that work well, but that way you can open it up so they can use their cell phone how they want to use it. And then as their situation progresses, you can lock down different things, and then at some point transition to landline.
Great, great. So, and any chance of Stephanie and I getting it for ourselves?
Well, we actually do have some customers that do it, that use it for their own services. And we do not, I mean, anyone can subscribe to the service, but we don't market towards that as a solution. There are other software for your phone by RoboKiller or others, and they sort of work, more so for some people than others. I don't know, but yeah, but so we just don't market it that way.
We like your numbers, but I understand the need to focus. And I just love what you're doing with your product, Tavis. It's amazing, and you deserve all the success you're getting. And yeah, we wish you more.
Thanks a
We're
lot,
going to
Debbie.
try to get you somebody in Alaska too. You need that 50th state.
Yes.
Great. Okay, well, if we have no other questions, if you do have a question for Tavis or Lori as we go through the room today, just put it in the chat, and we will make sure that your questions are put forward. Thank you so much again, Tavis. So our next guest is Lori Miller. And of course, I also met Lori through, actually, I think I met Lori on LinkedIn. in preparation for the first Age Tech webinar that we did here at Austin Chamber, Global Austin Chamber, and Global Chamber Austin, I should say. And Laurie was so kind, because I was, out there on LinkedIn in the direct messaging trying to, drum up audience, as you do. And Laurie came right back to me, and I really appreciated that, Laurie. So, and you came to the first meeting, and you've spoken on our Clubhouse. Laurie is the founder and CEO of agetechnow.com. I should also say that Laurie is a gerontologist, and she has been working in this space for a number of years. I'm going to guess 12 to 15, but you can correct that. Yeah. And she was an early adopter in the tech space in her local area, starting the Tech Empowered group there to talk about this. And I think Laurie and Tavis and all of us who are any kind of entrepreneurs know the feeling of being a little too early. But it's better than being late. It's better than being late. So anyway, Laurie's been doing this for a while, and this year, early this year, she kicked off something called Age Tech Now, which actually is a directory of age tech companies that individuals or companies can use. And I just love your concept, Laurie. You've got over 30 companies, and it's growing very fast. Telecom is one of the companies who are listed, and the companies that are providing products and listing on Laurie's website are ranging from everything that products and services are doing for age tech, such as mobility and activities of daily living, safety, security, and falls, prevention of everything, monitoring, health management, communications and engagement, cognitive impairment and dementia, and end-of-life planning. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Laurie, to tell us all about it. We're so excited about your venture, and this is so needed in the space to make it easy for consumers to find these great products that are out there. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Laurie.
Well, thank you so much. But the first thing I want to say is I didn't plan anything like Tavis, so you make me look horrible with slides and the whole presentation, but that's how good he is. So I just want to say that first. And then the next thing, Stephanie wanted, and I can't remember if Tavis was there or not. I was just at a function where they were talking about frauds and scams for older adults. And texting is now the #1 way to get to seniors for scams and frauds. And one thing they said was how important it is to talk to your parents or your older adults, whoever it is, and have them just be aware of the scam and be aware of clicking on something. And that sometimes is the best prevention, just talking about it as much as you can. So then it'll sound familiar to them. But I was shocked to learn that's beside the phone. I mean, I know Tavis says phone calls, but texting is a huge problem.
Because they personalize it. They'll say, "Hi, Stephanie." Even they do. I get it myself. "It was great chatting with you. Can you click on a link so we can discuss further?" I'm like, who did I chat with? I mean, did I remember? I mean, I talked to a lot of people. So just imagine someone who's older and they're not sure,
Oh yeah.
And they mention them by name.
Right. So the more you can talk about it and just bring awareness to it, the more they might go, "Oh, wait a minute, that's exactly what Stephanie was telling me about," and at least send up a red flag. That was that. I had a couple of things I wanted to write down. And before I even get started, something that we were talking about with Andrew and then Tavis talking about the different phone things, that just shows you how everything is so unique. I mean, there's a solution, but there could be different ways you use it. Like for telecom, someone may just want to, like you said, for the outbound 911 calls, but look at all the other amazing features it has. So I think when you get into some of this age tech stuff, these products can solve so many solutions, so many different unique people. And I think, Debbie, you said that the challenge is real right now, but it's all unique. Everybody is different. And I think that's where someone might not use all the features that Tavis has, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter if it solves their one thing. So I think looking at things from a different angle is really important. And also, I think it's really clear from what Tavis said, and also Debbie, when you have someone who starts a new business and it's in the older adult or caregiving space, when there's a personal story and you're affected by it, it changes everything. So I think there's, you can tell the difference of when someone is creating a product or new to the space, or, which is great because we have a lot more young people getting involved, but you can tell when they've been personally touched by an older adult, whether it's the love of a grandparent, and the decline. And I think there's a different level of respect. There's a different level of understanding. And I think that's what makes people successful in this business. So to back up, so I started a caregiving agency in 2006 here in Dallas. And that's when I got involved with it, with aging and caregiving and all of that. And to come to today, when in January is when I started Age Tech Now. And again, most products like Tavis also came from something that you wanted to solve that wasn't out there. And so I've always been interested in technology to enhance the human experience and to enhance the caregiving experience with the human. Like you said, you can't take it, it can't be gone with the human. You just need help. And right now, staffing for our agency, caregivers it's a hard job. There's less of them. This whole work at home thing has changed everything. So it's difficult. So there's lots of technology that can extend the caregiving experience, the professional caregiving experience. And caregiving is also expensive. It's not covered by Medicare. It's an out-of-pocket expense. Most people don't have long-term care insurance. So whatever we could do to extend that caregiving dollar is really helpful, and to enhance that human. So I looked for solutions for a client maybe, and I would hear about, being in this industry, I hear about things really early, or something that came out of the CES show or something, and I would hear about it and I would go, oh, this is going to be perfect. And then I'd go find the website and it's like, sign up to pre-order and get on our newsletter, and it wouldn't be available. And so many things that you hear about, they win these grant money awards and they win all this kind of stuff, but they're not available to the consumer, or they're only available to a facility, because a lot of times, and I don't have a problem with it, a lot of times the product they need numbers. The companies need to get it in. They need numbers to continue to make it. They can't do these one-off family stuff. So they'll go to the skilled facility or assisted living or wherever to try to get a bulk quantity. And I get it, but it's not available to the consumer, or they don't want to go that route. So it got very frustrating to me. So I went looking for a site where I could find products that were available today to the consumer. I mean, it seemed very easy, but no, it wasn't out there. So that's why I started it. It's just, I wanted it, for myself to be able to send people, to be able to say, hey, here's my site, go look. I think there's some solutions. And then I've discovered, even a few months, I just started it in January. And like you said, Debbie, we have 30 plus companies. It's really interesting because there's some things that I really love, but it's not right for everybody. I mean, there's a really great product that may be good depending on Andrew's situation, Andrew's mom's situation. It's an awesome, it's like a tablet, and it's secure. Tavis knows what I'm thinking. And it's secure where you have to send a link to someone to join it. And it looks like, if you can imagine, a digital frame. So it's great. I'll mention, I went back to school a couple of years ago to get my master's in gerontology. So my in-laws are perpetual guinea pigs. I mean, when I was doing when I was studying and I needed older adults to do reports on and ask questions and interviews, I mean, we had a lot of fun, and they're local. And so but now I'll find a product and I'm like, what's better than having, he's 89 now and she's 88, have them, go at it. Cause they're very they're not afraid of technology. They'll try things, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. So they're great guinea pigs. So I have this product, and I thought it'd be great for her to test. She does have some, she does have memory or cognitive impairment. So it has games on it and has all this kind of stuff. And it's great. You can just push a button and it automatically can call someone. Like you push their face and automatically calls, and it's a two-way thing. Or on my end, if I have the app, I can just call her directly. She doesn't even need to answer it. You just appear. Well, that calling feature, which I have a friend who's testing it, and that's all she uses for her father, just the calling feature. And doesn't use the games, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. We don't even use the calling feature at all because that's not necessary. So it's really interesting that one feature that my friend is using, and that's all she uses, is something we totally don't use. But this tablet has to be plugged in. So it's not great for my mother-in-law because she doesn't normally sit at a desk or she'll sit at the kitchen table, or she sits in her recliner. And the way her recliner is set up, it's not conducive for this product because she doesn't want to hold it in her lap. And I'm just all over it. I think it's one of the greatest products I've seen. It's literally plug and play. It's awesome. It's not working for her. And I think those little nuances to know actually how's it going to be used. Like when we were just a few seconds ago telling Andrew all these, or Tavis was telling Andrew all these options for phones, but there's way more to know. Is it a cell phone that she wants? Is it a landline that she wants? Is it to receive phone calls where you could, that would make a whole different story. So there's so many situations and everybody's unique. And I think that's what makes this kind of an exciting time. The other thing about the time right now, and I think this is really great, is our older adults are boomers, really. There's, my in-laws are starting to, not be all of our consumers, and we're starting to get younger, older adults. And I can bash the boomers because I am one. The good news is they're boomers, and the bad news is they're boomers, because boomers are a bit of a pain and really, want things the way they want, or we want. And so there's some issues there, but they are already, like a lot of people are already using, tracking with the Fitbit, already use iPhones. So they're already, over that hurdle. The other positive part of right now, which no one ever said anything with the pandemic was positive, but there is a positive from the pandemic, is that most older adults are really comfortable on Zoom and talking to a computer like this, where before they weren't. And so it almost forced people with the teledoc visits, forced people to understand that it's okay. They were real strong about doing that. So I think that's a good thing. So I think people looking at technology more is easier now. But on the other hand, there's a lot of boomers who are very skeptical of the privacy issue, and they will not get over. I mean, I know a lot of people, because there's a lot of great stuff you can use with Alexa. I can't say it because she's right here. But a lot of people won't even think about it because, government's watching and they're spying on me and they're doing all this. There's a lot of privacy settings that you can add, but there are so many people who don't want any technology because of that. And I think that will be a little bit more of an issue as some of those, more of the older adults who lived through the 60s, who were young adults in the 60s, and come online. As far as the offerings that we have, the way our site works, we have it, I've already changed it because we added so many people or so many products to make it easier. We just have it in different sections, the way Debbie said, and you just scroll and look. I'm going to be adding more, fleshing it out a little more, probably adding videos and a little bit more like explaining, like that tablet needs to be plugged in. I think that's important for someone to know. We already have on there, if you need Wi-Fi, a lot of people don't have internet in the home or don't have Wi-Fi, and you need to know that before you start looking at things. So we have some of that on there already. We will be adding, thank you, Debbie, a financial management section. I actually already put it up on there with the coming soon. because financial management is such a big deal right now. And hopefully the whole goal is to make professionals, other people, home care, hospice, whatever, just a place they could lead their clients and their patients. Everyone's so busy. Everyone in the healthcare system is so understaffed. If they can just have a tool that they could just say, hey, you try this, and hopefully we can solve some of the problems that we have and help with some of the caregiving crisis that's going on now, and allow people to age in place safely. There's some really cool stuff out there. I mean, really some neat stuff that people don't know, no one knows it exists. And how would they? So I think that's mainly what I have to say.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lori. And I just want to clarify, like, so your service is mostly for individuals, or?
I mean, the products on there are available to the individual to obtain now. Of course, like a hospice company may want to send their patients to look at it. But that's the point. It's the point for that end consumer, because there really isn't anything for that there's no place for that end consumer to find something. And even, Amazon has some great stuff on their website, but how do you know what to look for if you don't know it exists? I mean,
Exactly.
It's just and who has the time? And that's the other thing. So it's for anybody, but the products are available to consumers now, to the end consumer now.
Okay, well, I love that. And you're also featuring companies from all over America, and I expect you wouldn't not allow a European company, right? If they had a proper purchase path.
If they could, yeah, there's yeah, if they can ship it to the consumer, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so it's
Yes.
not Texas centric is the point. It's
No.
all over the United States. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it that you mentioned the individualized situations that arise with caregiving. We all know about that in the business of family caregiving, and even in the business of caregiving. Every situation is quite individualized. And I loved your example about your mom who, that's not going to work for her, having that thing wired. I also heard of something else where the device had to be recharged and the person couldn't remember to recharge it. So there's all kinds of really interesting little things that, let's just say, a 25-year-old designer might not think about without actually talking to older adults and those who care for them. And of course, I'm a market researcher. So, I'm gonna obviously come down on the side of doing research among consumers, which in this case are older adults and those who care for them. We learned so much by just simply talking to people.
Right.
I'll
tell you a funny story. I don't know how long ago, it could have been 10 years ago. I don't remember. Someone wanted me to test their product, look at their product. And see. I'm like, sure, absolutely. It might have been a tracking device or something. And so they sent the product, and it was in one of those clamshell sealed packages. I couldn't even open it. I mean, I had to go get garden shears to open it. I'm like, there's no way an older adult would be even able to open this package, because if you had to use those scissors, I mean, it was like, you got to start over and make packaging better. I mean, there's no way an older, I mean, I couldn't even open it up with my hands. I had literally, it's like, yeah, you got to look at it from the point of the user.
Absolutely. And one of the new trends in product design in any case is what we're calling universal design, so that it's good for everyone. So it takes into account the idea that there will be users who are older. I also wanted to comment on your comment about sometimes the products are not available to individuals. They're only available through, let's say, residences or communities, established communities. And you know, I know that's such a it's a common pathway to go through the clinical trials that not only give you the big numbers, as you mentioned, but also give you the metrics you need to then go to the consumer market. We see that a lot as well. So I do know that in this field of age tech, we are just going to see so much happening in the next few years, because right now we have a lot of products in facilities. We don't like to use the word facilities. We like to use residential communities, but they are in proper residential communities, and they're being tested at pretty big numbers. So I think it's just a fascinating area that we can all be aware of and watch. Do we have any questions for Laurie? Looking in the chat here, you can either unmic and ask your question. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. And good luck on your interview. And then if anybody has a question for Laurie, you can put it in the chat or you can unmic and ask.
I have a question for Lori. I love age seniors. The question I have, Lori, in
Wait,
regards
Stephanie, you should tell us your background as well, because you have an amazing background in this area.
okay. Oh, so I've been in healthcare for the past 30 years. I should say 20 plus, if I say 30, you know, for the past 30 years. And so I've worked in all specialties, but geriatrics was one of my specialties. Working with assisted living, partnering with hospice, and then also just seeing around my grandparents. I was also around my great grandmother, and just watching them as they age. And so all the other specialty is internal medicine and primary care. So your geriatrics starts out with the internal medicines, and there comes a point where they may need to transition to a geriatrologist, and many times your aging parents don't want to leave their doctor they have for the rest of their lives. And sometimes your internist feels that it's okay, I can continue caring for them, but there does come a point where they should transition to a geriatrologist or as a referral basis. But the question I have for you, Lori, in regards to you, your business is individuals. So how do you market to individuals, or do you go to companies that, like, for example, I live in an area where down the road, they have senior living. It's for people who are 55 plus. Do you market to those type of communities? Because they're not at the place right now where they may be having some challenges, but assisted living potentially could be that. How do you market to individuals and not companies per se? And are you considering partnering with companies with your business as well as Tavis?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, it's still so new. A lot of it is just trying to get out in the word of mouth, whether it's through LinkedIn, which has been, a really great resource. And then through my relationships with other, the healthcare people here in Dallas, through them. And yes, whether it's another home care agency that they know they can then tell their clients,
Okay,
or our home health agency who could then tell their clients about, or their patients about it. But yeah, it really is to get to the end user, whoever that helps. Now, it could help the hospice, social worker to mention it because it's going to make their life easier. And so those are ways to get to it. But yeah, it's just right now, it's really just a listing, a database of available products, and it's more educational in nature right now. But yeah, that will be the big, I'll come back to you in a year and tell you where we are and how it's going.
Well, I'm in Frisco, Ohio. Where are you in Dallas?
Just I don't know, maybe 8 miles south of you. I'm right off the tollway and kind of Frankfurt area.
Oh, yeah, know where that is. Well, we'll love to connect with you afterwards to talk a little bit more about your business, and also Global Chamber Austin, as we talked about earlier.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
We'll meet at Tavis's office because I want to see your new office.
Yes, that would be great. Yes.
When the Cowboys are back in town, maybe.
Well, there's a lot of great places to eat over there, so even have lunch or coffee or something.
Well, I did just get an invite yesterday to apparently they're doing the Cowboys are going to be there doing training are going to actually be training at there, and it's open to the public. So
Nice.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. I've taken a tour of the Star. It's an amazing place.
It is.
It's
It's
amazing.
gorgeous. Debbie, back to you.
Thank you all very much.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for being with us. We're just going to mention a few other companies in the area and what we're trying to do here with these quarterly meetings. And I'm just so excited to hear about both of your products and services. And I've been covering this as a market researcher since about 2008. I've been covering this whole area of aging and longevity and caregiving, and I am amazed at the uptake we're getting right now. For example, AARP, which has the Age Tech Development, Age Tech Collaborative, I believe it's called. They are literally running age tech companies through their cohorts on a regular basis and have been for well over 5 years now. Last year in 2020, this year, 2023, they took 19 startups to CES in Las Vegas in early January. So we expect that will be even bigger this year. We're seeing huge opportunities in, for example, Canada has that same ecosystem. Portugal's heating up because Portugal's a very aged society. Obviously Japan, and in Japan, my company, the Carter Group, Japan Market Resource Network, we are involved in something called the Independent Aging Conference this mid-October, where we are highlighting age tech solutions from around the world for Japan, and also a few domestic startups. So in Japan, we focus on foreign companies, which is us, and also domestic companies there. And that age tech landscape is very, very exciting indeed. We've also, at our company, just to give you an idea of how big this opportunity is for so many different kinds of companies, I always like to say aging and longevity and caregiving is something that every business ought to be looking at as a customer segment or a business segment. It may not work for you, but most companies, almost every company, can find a way to leverage on the trends that we are having globally in aging and longevity and caregiving. And just as an example, so our company is a market research company. So we specialize in a lot of different sectors. We do Disney film trailer evaluation, we do anti-aging skincare, we do food and beverage products. But one of the sectors that has become so hot lately in the last 5 to 6 years is age tech. And so as a market research company, we've been able to develop our expertise on our teams and everything else to be able to find these older adults and those who care for them. And also, we have taken a leadership position in Japan and the world in showing and highlighting Japan as a market. And this kind of gets into that wider world of global chamber and looking at other markets. And I don't want to hammer too hard on that. I just want to explain that, there's a chance for almost all of us to look at our businesses and see how this could work for us. And in our case, it works really well for market research. And of course, in the caregiving space, where I help companies to become more caregiver friendly. So I have a lot of hats, as Stephanie knows, and my hats are kind of changing pretty fast these days, but they're starting to connect. They're actually starting to connect. So I'm pretty happy with that. And here in Texas, we have Austin-based Helper Bees, which is a huge aging in place platform. We will probably be hearing from them in the future. We have Dallas-based Caraloop, which is a company that helps companies become more caregiver friendly. And we have a virtual reality company called Mind VR out of Plano, Texas, that can take an elderly person in a residence on a family wedding trip to Italy. I mean, there are such amazing things happening for everyone we love in this space. And I just want to say again that Texas is playing a really interesting role going forward. So I really love that about our state. And at the Global Chamber, we do have Kelly Flowers out of Dallas. It's Dallas, right, Stephanie?
Yes, yes, she's
Yeah.
out of Dallas.
And Kelly couldn't come today because there's a Women in Tech meeting tonight. And I think Stephanie's going to tell you a little bit more about that. But there are resources already in the Global Chamber that could help us with this tech development area. And Stephanie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to you for a moment, and I
All
think I'll
right.
be all back pretty soon.
Yes, you will. Thank you so much. Lori and Tavis, thank you so much for all that you shared with us today. It was just a wealth of knowledge, wealth of information, very beneficial. I look forward to connecting with you all and partnering with you all in the future. I wanted to make sure we open up the the opportunity for everyone to introduce yourself. Please put your name, your LinkedIn, all your information in the chat so that we can follow you, connect with you. You can also save this the chat information. There's a little right next to your little emoji icon in the chat. It says more. You can click on that, and then it will allow you to save the chat to your computer. And so I want to reach out to Wayne. I see that you're on there, Wayne. Wayne Crowley, do you mind introducing yourself? Tell us who you are, your business. We would love to learn and know more about you as well. I'm not sure if I caught him off guard right now.
Hey, I just couldn't find the mute button there.
Okay, there you go. Hi, Wayne. Welcome to Global Chamber Austin, where
Thank you.
age tech information abounds. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Wayne Crowley. I'm with Novair Products LLC. We are designing and bringing to market a wall cabinet that uses robotics to lower down to be accessible by a person in a wheelchair. I'm the founder and managing member, and if you want to learn more about our products, you can visit our website at www.novair.biz.
Wonderful, Wayne. Thank you so much for sharing. Do you mind dropping your information in the chat section so that people can, one, connect with you on link? Also, you can put your website information so that we can connect with you and learn more about your organization.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would also like to encourage you to look at the video of Wayne's Novair products. They are truly, truly amazing and can be of help to aging adults and those who care for them, obviously, to live independently, but also to people who may be wheelchair bound, for example. I mean, imagine the normal homes that we have that are designed for us, able-bodied folks. It's very, very difficult if you're in a wheelchair to get up to that top shelf. So it's a really great solution. And Wayne Crowley has also been a guest on Clubhouse. And we love this product as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. I want to mention that on the desire of Global Chamber Austin is to play a role in supporting the further development of the Austin age tech industry. And so not just Austin, but we want to support age tech industry as a whole. And so for starters, please let us know if you have any introductions to other Texas-based age tech companies who might like to be featured in our upcoming Globinar or Texas Age Tech. We'll try to do these on a quarterly basis. As Debbie mentioned, we'll be doing those in November. So we're very excited about that. And so what I would like to do, we do have our founder of Global Chamber, Doug Bruckey. He is here with us today. He is a phenomenal leader, a visionary, so many words of wisdom and knowledge, pearls of wisdom and knowledge and connections. So without further ado, Doug Bruckey, our CEO and founder of Global Chamber. Doug, are you there? Did I do you justice here? Oh, you're on mute if you are saying anything. So let's transition. He might be doing something right this minute, so we can go on to the next thing. Any question that anyone has of me in regards to Global Chamber, the breadth, the understanding, and this is just one of many Globinars that we offer. We'll have over 600 Globinars a year, and several in-person meetups. And being part of Global Chamber as a member or a sponsor allows you the connectivity, not just within Global Chamber Austin, but all across the globe. As I mentioned to you, we're in 525 metros, 195 countries. And Doug Chamber is the thought leader. He's the one that created this years and years and years ago. And it just spread like wildfire. So any questions for me? And I'll text Doug to see if he's available. No questions at all, Laurie, Tavis, Wayne? Any question? Wayne, where's your business located, Wayne?
We are just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, nice. Okay, great.
So Stephanie, I assume you, oh, I'm sorry. I assume you have representation in Canada.
Of course.
So, I mean, at some point, that would be the first country that we would expand to.
Okay.
Just because, well, because it's the same North American numbering plan. It's, you know, it's the easiest. Most of the country speaks English.
Right.
But so from that, I mean, would the Global Chamber be helpful in helping us look for a Canadian partner, or looking at laws in Canada that we would have to overcome in order to offer the same type of service we do in the US?
So what I can speak to is that what Global Chamber is able to do is typically whenever there's any connections that you want to meet with or connect with in any country, we look within our network and see how we can connect you. And so then therefore, sometimes in regards to the law, there might be a Global Chamber lawyer that's in Canada that we would connect you to that person. So it's all about us connecting. We don't do the physicality of understanding the law in Canada or Africa or you know, Tokyo. We connect you with the right people, and those people will then assist you and partner with you on what your needs are. And if they don't have the answer, or if they're not able to do that, they will then connect you with that. So that's the beauty of Global Chamber. There's always someone somewhere able to help. Debbie, I saw that you unmuted.
Sure, and that's exactly right, Stephanie. I have found Doug and his team to be super helpful with soft intros. So they will actually connect you with people who can answer your questions, Tavis. And there can also be things that happen, like, for example, we've done Japan market knowledge webinars where we would say, like, pull together 3 or 4 experts and do a webinar on market entry for Japan. And there may be some interest in the Canadian chapters for doing that. So if we knew, for example, that you have that kind of need, I think that Doug and I and, you know, Stephanie can brainstorm about, you know, how could we engage maybe some of the Canadian chapters to do something interesting for market entry for Canada, which would include usually HR, finance, export, legal, all of that, right? One of the things I find in the Global Chamber is that we have a lot of experts about everything, all aspects of doing business, depending on the market you want to go in. And it's a pretty rich group of people. So I feel pretty confident saying that Doug would be able to help you with that.
Okay,
And
thanks.
we'll let Doug defend himself if he if he wants to. Stephanie,
Right.
we're in charge, so we can.
I know. We get to say what he's able to do. But as Debbie mentioned, the beautiful thing is that we have such a rich and dynamic team of people and network because with Global Chamber that I've never seen this before. And I'm not just saying that because before I became the executive director, I was a member. And being a member just afforded me so many opportunities. And I tell people, Global Chamber is what you make it. If you choose to be involved, then you're going to get involved. You'll get connected. You can attend all meetings all across the world. It's not just isolated to where your membership is. You can attend any meeting, the New York meeting, the Tokyo meeting, the Africa meeting, the Philippines, the California. If there's a Canada meeting, wherever the case may be, Alaska meeting, so you can get connections. And that's the thing about Global Chamber, getting connected. So.
And we're not selling the chamber today,
Yes.
but in fairness, I also want to mention this other side of it, because as a small business person, as an entrepreneur, and a little bit larger business person out of Tokyo, because being a Global Chamber member, we've been able to raise awareness of our issues and our presence on the planet, right? Like we'll do a Tokyo-based webinar where, let's say, Carter JMRN pulls together a few experts and we show some results from our annual tracking survey about Japan. So we educate about the market opportunity in Japan while we're creating awareness for ourselves and our expertise. And that can be done, for example, if you, Tavis and Laurie, if you had any ideas and you want to brainstorm with me, like we can make, I think Stephanie will help us, right? We can make our own, she'll help us do the webinars, and we make, let's say, for example, we wanted to do one on the challenges of dementia and Alzheimer's care. That includes several solutions, Tavis, in your case, right? We could tee up the problem and then offer 3 or 4 solutions related to that problem. So I see the Global Chamber as a wonderful way to raise awareness of our issues in the world. And I don't think I'm overstating that ability, because I don't know how you all feel, but I think this aging space it's a little bit difficult, right? People don't want to talk about problems, they don't want to talk about what's going to happen. I find people very resistant to the topic. So that's why I'm out there. And I don't want to just talk to people who agree with us. I want to spread that message really wide, and Global Chamber offers us and a business audience of people around the world that we can raise our issues with. So
Right.
I think that that's not overstating the power of the medium and the channel to keep our issues out there front and center.
Correct. And Debbie, what I like what you mentioned regarding raising the awareness. I think what would be ideal with the panel when we start do this, this type of topic, is getting people from other countries to be a part of the panel. Because this is not just isolated to Tokyo or the US. I mean, other countries, what are they doing? What are some of the challenges? Having the discussion, even getting providers on board and participating in this type of discussion. And so the awareness is the beautiful thing that I really like about it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I have 2 questions,
Yes.
real quick. One, do you ever meet in person? Is it all online?
So we do have some meetings that are in person. But the majority of it is online, because what's happening is people want to meet people across the globe, or in New York or in Atlanta, or if they're in Austin, they want to meet someone in Dallas. So they're not able to really physically meet. And so therefore we meet globally, but we do have in-person events. We could definitely have one that's coming up, like Kelly Flowers, who's on our advisory board. She has an event coming up tomorrow in Dallas. And she has another event coming up August 26th, which is a masquerade. We had some events. I know we have something coming up for sure in around November, December for the Austin, which is a holiday event. But we have in person. And so typically when we do in-person events, we make it virtual and in person so that people can view it virtually. But yes, we do things in person as well.
Okay, and then my second question is, don't forget to send me the link and I'll send it to my friend in Austin
I
for
will.
the thing tomorrow.
Yes, and I'll probably schedule some time with you just real quick to talk about for 5 minutes. So you'll receive an email from me shortly.
Okay.
Not a problem. So it looks like Doug is probably tied up. I just want to say thank you, Debbie, for all that you've done. You are a breath of fresh air. You're very knowledgeable. You're well connected. You're passionate about our age tech. And I truly appreciate that. Sometimes it can go, what's the word, unnoticed, because people just kind of brush it aside. But Debbie makes sure that you hear it, you understand, and she's, I wouldn't say in your face, but she is definitely there. You're not in their face, but
I'm a
you,
boomer. I'm a boomer. I'm in your face. I'm proud of
she,
it.
I would say in your face, she's just passionate about it and she wants people to know. I mean, this is just a huge undertaking and a huge issue that it cannot go unnoticed. So I want to say thank you, Lori Miller, and also Tavis. I want to say thank you all for what you shared with us today. It was very knowledgeable. I look forward to partnering with you. Wayne, thank you for joining us. I'd love to learn more about your business as well. And we look forward to you all joining us again in November when we have our quarterly event again regarding age tech, but also stay tuned to other things that we're doing in Global Chamber Austin. All right, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Y'all have a great
Welcome.
day.
You too.
Take care.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye. I don't even see the recording. Oh, there it goes.